In 3, 2, 1, action.
Oh,
you got the delay pedal on?
Yeah, that was the end
I
of
don't
the
think we have
weekday
that
music.
song. I think that's a new song.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix over here on the flange guitar. Welcome to the weekday. This is episode, I think, 50.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
I
is
think
50. I was actually hoping that you were going to say 40 something again, and I was going to call you out for it. but
Can we try?
that didn't
Let's
happen.
try it again?
Yeah, try
Okay.
it again.
Three.
Yeah.
2.
3, 2, 1, action.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the weekday. This is episode 40 something.
It's 50.
This is like a really bad TikTok. We just need I need an angry face emoji over Justin right now. Just
I don't know.
the smoke flaring out. Oh my
great.
gosh.
That was satisfying. Thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thanks, Justin. I appreciate that. Hey, welcome to the weekday. This is episode 50, as I was so rudely corrected by our producer.
50-something, technically.
50 yeah, it is 50 something.
Yeah, that's true.
We have lapsed over into middle age. Congratulations. We're over the hill. Thanks.
AARP, here we come.
Retirement age, baby.
Do you know what's funny? Real quick, before you do your intros, I routinely get calls from agencies talking about Medicaid and AARP.
How?
And get mail about AARP. Somehow, my birthday, or mom's birthday, April 4th, 1956, it says, dear, and it was especially happening, this year. Yeah, like earlier this year, because, hey, we see that you're turning 65 this year.
Oh, no.
And I was like, no, I am not turning 65.
First of all, that's a kick in the gut because
Yeah,
mom,
right.
we love you. And second of all,
Yeah. So it's really funny. So like I've taken several calls from call centers in India and China and
do you tell
Korea.
them like, hey, take me off of your
Yeah, I
list?
said, hey, how's it going? I am not 65. Listen to my voice.
My name is not Marion.
Well, no, it says Michael Mage,
Oh,
but
okay.
April 4th, 1956.
Is that from like a bank account or
I
something?
have no clue why it does that.
Every once in a while, I'll get an email that says, Dear Marion.
Wow, it's so weird.
But to my email address as well. Anyway, I'm Andy. I'm the digital pastor. That's Mike. He's our worship director. And that guy, our producer over there, Justin Deal on the Wheels of Steel. Hey, real quick, actually funny about that.
What?
About the kind of that thing
The
right
old
there.
people.
The old people, but not really. We have USAA for our auto insurance, and this is not a USAA shout out. They're great, but this like 5 or 6 years ago.
This take is
podcast,
sponsored.
this podcast sponsored by USAA. USAA. That's their thing.
It's USAA. Like, the chant doesn't work as well.
USAA. They just kind of fall down. Anyway, this is like 5 or 6 years ago. I was just joking with one of the guys that I was talking to getting homeowners insurance. And he said, hello, Mr. Mage. I said, it's Dr. Mage. And it was just
you told me this
it was
story.
an offhanded like throwaway thing. And now every time, I guess they're like their customer service is super responsive because every time I call in and everything that's addressed to me is Dr. and Mrs. Mage. And I love it. And so I was calling for like auto insurance or something to get a new quote. And hello, Dr. Mage. How's COVID been treating you? It's like, well, first of all, I'm not that type of doctor. Yeah. So anyway, last week we were joined by the illustrious crew from Figuring It Out, Austin and Spencer. This week, I know those guys really stink. We really don't like them.
Boo.
He's going to throw his keyboard over here, I think.
Boo those
Austin
people.
is. But Mike, you were on vacation. Tell us a little bit about that vacation, my friend.
I headed down south, down yonder.
To the Keys?
Nope, not that far.
To Cuba.
Nope.
You were free in Cuba.
I was down at St. Pete Beach.
Oh, okay. Which, if you're listening to this from around the country, St. Pete Beach is a grand total of about 60 miles from here.
Oh,
maybe
not
40.
even.
Yeah,
no,
maybe
like 30.
30 miles from here. Cool.
And
distance.
It's a lovely area. I love that area so much.
Yeah.
Melissa, our sister, who you know,
I do.
and Ben, who's our brother-in-law, who you know,
I do.
They actually got married. Justin, you know them too.
Yes.
They actually got married. The first time I've lived here however long, 25, 30, 25
Not 30.
years? No, 25 years.
Yeah.
20 years?
95.
Math. And I'd never been down to like the St. Pete Beach area until she got married back in 2017. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so last year we went to Reddington Beach, which is just north of St. Pete Beach. And then this year we actually stayed in Treasure Island, which is just north of St. Pete Beach. I mean, like right the next thing, like north of it. And we actually stayed just like 4 condos down from where we had their rehearsal dinner.
Oh, cool.
And then like 2 condos down from where we actually stayed the night before their wedding. So, which I didn't even realize until like the last night where they're like, oh, that's why I know this place.
Yeah.
But like, it's so nice. It's so beautiful. And we were really scared that we were going to go because red tide is really bad right now.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know what red tide is, it's a naturally occurring thing, which algae bloom in the Gulf of Mexico, but normally happens a good bit further south than us.
Right.
But because of some of the temperatures and there was some like
fertilizer.
that was being dumped into the Gulf, probably, which is not a great thing.
It was highly illegal.
Yeah. Helped speed up the process of this. And so just thousands and thousands of tons of dead fish wash up on the shore. And it's really, really bad right now. And so we thought like, crap, of course, like we booked this vacation and it's going to be bad. And it really wasn't that bad, except for the last day. Did I tell you about this?
No.
The last day. So we're there. I finally got smart about vacations in general. I take days off before we actually leave on vacation, because if you have kids and you go on vacation, Justin, write this down. When you have kids,
you have
kids,
noted,
and you go on vacation, it is not a vacation. You remember that, sir. It is a trip where you make memories, and it's a beautiful thing. However, if you leave straight from work to go on vacation, it is even more stressful. And so I took like 3 days off before we left, and we only spent like 3 or 4 nights at the condo. But like, it gave me a full week. So by the time we left, it was fine. So I got smarter on the front end, but then on the back end, last year, I remember it's like, oh, we're only like a half hour away from Kristen's parents. So we said, why don't we, the last night, have the kids go sleep at Kristen's parents' house, and then we actually have like an afternoon and a night in this condo that we rented. And then, and even better, is the pack up was the easiest thing I've done in the last 7 years.
2 bags.
And it was more than that, but like there were no kids around, and we slept in, and we woke up, we had to be out by 10. We started getting ready at 9. We were done by 9:35. Like incredible. So anyways, the last afternoon that we spent there, there were a couple dead fish here and there. And the smell really wasn't that bad or anything. But the last day we went down and sat on the beach, and Kristen looked over and she's like, what is that? I was like, I don't know. I couldn't really see. And so I stood up, I was like, oh no. And I walked over, and probably like 40 yards to the left of us, there was a fish the size of my 5'1" wife.
What?
That had washed up on the shore, completely dead and just eviscerated from like, but I mean, Andy, It was the largest fish I've ever seen in my life.
Huh.
Yeah, it was. And I kept trying to look at, and
Did you take a picture?
No, I didn't, because I thought it was insensitive,
the fish probably isn't feeling it.
I don't know. I didn't want to, like,
I don't want
to desecrate any fish burial
sites. We're not like in a Britney Spears paparazzi situation right now.
It needed its dignity.
Yeah. Okay. Every fish has its day.
Yes, exactly. And so I looked it up, and like, I think it was a grouper.
Whoa.
Like out of the fish that I could get that are in like, they live in the Gulf Coast or around the Gulf Coast area, it was most likely a grouper. And
like that, like with the U shape.
No, it looked, well, I couldn't see its face because its face was pretty gone.
This is a 400-pound grouper.
It wasn't a Goliath grouper, but like if you could look, like it looked similar to one of those pictures.
Like that one?
No, it wasn't as spotted. It was fairly white and grayish, but it was out of the way that the body shape looked. Huh. It looked like a grouper.
I mean, that could have been. Holy jeez, that's huge.
And it was like unbelievably huge. And it was just sitting there, just getting battered by the waves and flies picking it up. And yeah. So, but outside of all that stuff, like, it was a really great vacation. I've learned that our mom, who like loved to fry in the sun, she would
literally
put
baby
oil on her and bake in the sun, and would never get a sunscreen above like 35, because I feel like she wanted, it's like, oh, they'll get tan or whatever. I never got tan. I would always get burnt in it. So I have this like PTSD going to the beach. Yeah. But now I actually get sunscreen that is like 55 or above. And wouldn't you know that if I put sunscreen on that's 55 or above, I don't get burnt. And I tend to enjoy the beach a little more. So, Yeah, it was a great time. Great time.
Justin, dream vacation, go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Where is it?
Cruise or cabin.
Cruise or cabin. What about a cabin on the cruise?
Oh, no. Technically, that's what you get. That's what they call them.
that.
They call them cabins.
Yeah.
Where would the cruise be to?
What?
Where would the cruise be to?
Ooh,
Your camera,
I
Justin.
think-
What are you?
but I'm thinking. I don't want you to see the smoke coming out.
Someone oil them up.
I think probably someplace north, either like Alaska or like Iceland.
That's the good.
I think Iceland would be really cool.
Yeah,
I would love to see like the Northern Lights.
I'm in for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd love that.
Give me some of that.
What about you? What's your like dream vacay?
My dream vacay is either a cruise up to like Alaska or whatever.
Could you handle a cruise?
Probably. Maybe. Why do you say that?
I don't know. I feel like you'd be like Dad on a cruise. Dad, I know you're listening. Hello. I know that he didn't do very well in the cruise.
Do you mean because of the motion? Because I'm okay with the motion.
Yeah, I don't know.
The only reason I wouldn't do good on the cruise is because of the close proximity of all of the people.
Yeah, it's honestly. I mean, they're so big. Like you don't really.
I understand. But the rooms are very small. I know that.
That's why. Yeah, you have to get one at least with the window. But that's why when we go, we get one with the balcony. Even if we don't really sit on it.
It just gives you that
sort of the claustrophobic feel. Even thinking it, like it's not as claustrophobic when you're there, but when you think about it, it feels very claustrophobic.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd rather just go to the mountains, have a cabin in the mountains. In the middle of the winter and just let it snow.
I just want someone to feed me. You know, like I don't want to.
You can get that in a lot of places. Mike.
No, I know, but like I don't want to think about it. I want to go somewhere and I sit down and they bring me food.
So an all inclusive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all inclusive wherever it is. Like we did all inclusive for our honeymoon, and we've done we like cruises and stuff, and like that's by far the way to go. Like I'll pay all the money up front, but then when I get there, I don't want to pay any money.
I got it.
Yeah.
All right. So today, what we're doing for episode 50, we've been doing this near about a year, just over a year, actually, which is pretty crazy. We've been doing the weekday. We have continued to talk to you, the Weekday Army, about a lot of different topics. And we kind of in a year retrospective have been looking back and looking forward and kind of planning and doing some preparation with our sister podcast, Figuring It Out. Is it a sister? Are we in that? Or is it a brother? Our brother podcast?
Sure. I was going to say something negative.
Stepsister?
Well, I don't want to say it. Yes, sure. A sister of a sort.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can text me later.
Yeah.
A relative podcast called Figuring It Out. And we're just, trying to reorient Bay Hope TV and kind of as we take steps forward now that it's the fall and everything's launching and everybody's doing amazing things and stuff. We want to let you in on a little bit of a kind of a meeting.
It's a company meeting.
We're gonna have kind of a
Justin,
board meeting.
I'm glad you've joined us here.
Yes,
so Justin's going to be taking notes, taking the minutes, and I will call this meeting to order. No, what we really wanted to talk about as well was to talk with you, the Weekday Army. And so wherever you're listening, whatever you're doing to really consume and engage with the Weekday, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on Spotify, whether that's on Facebook, whether that's on, what am I missing? Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all the other things. We want to hear your opinions and your ideas about the things that you have heard over the past year from the Weekday that you have liked. You can tell us the things you don't like as well, but which we're okay with good criticism. We're okay with any criticism, really. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Mike can't.
I'm in therapy. It's fine.
I'm in therapy too. It's okay. But what we want to do is we want to talk amongst ourselves as well and really kind of orient ourselves over the next couple of months on what has worked, what we don't think has worked, what we can do going forward. So, Mike Mage, I want to throw it to you first. I'll set you, and you can set it again or spike it, doesn't matter.
Okay.
What over the last year has worked for you with the Weekday? Great.
Do you like this dead space?
Yeah, it's great. That has really worked for us. The dead air.
Our rat-a-tat,
our witty banter, our witty repartee,
our inherent chemistry when you throw things to me.
Yeah. if you're listening on an audio podcast,
answers.
Mike's eyes look like the equivalent of the Looney Tunes thing where it goes boing. when they close. Go ahead, Mike.
I definitely don't like it when you bring on other co-hosts and when I'm not here. So
maybe just don't take a vacation. Then.
I can tell you what I don't like.
Right. This is going to be a reverse Oreo sandwich. Cream chocolate cream.
I don't know. I think, I like it when we discuss biblical things. I know that sounds stupid, but like when we're able to when we have like a fairly deep conversation about that. I also like being able to, but see, this is different though. This is what I like as opposed to what I think works. I don't know what I know. That's what we need other people to tell me what works.
Okay, so we will poll the audience. We'll do all that.
Yeah.
You tell us what works with you, please. Like we're reaching out and we're just saying like, hey, we want to provide better content for you. We want to provide better discussion and better everything for you. So tell us what works with you. Throw it in the comments or whatever. But for you, what do you like?
I like
what do you
having
think?
frank discussions because like I think between the three of us, I would say that we're fairly non-offensive. And have a good handle on what it looks like to talk about something and grapple with something that might be controversial or might be not even controversial, but might be like a little grisly. Have a couple of sharper edges on it.
Okay.
And I think I like having this podcast to be able to talk about that kind of stuff and to invite other people in as a conversation and to have people engage with those topics. And really I like it when other people, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, Joel had brought to me, why is it okay for church musicians or people to get paid that work with the church? And like, I love being able to talk about those types of conversations that other people actually bring to us. And it's sort of, like this cool cyclical thing that can happen.
Yep. Chop it up that way.
Yeah.
Justin, what about you? Just one thing right now. Like what works?
Yeah.
What do you like? All that.
Yeah, I like.
You like the fact that we brought you on camera?
Yeah. So
immediately,
everything else is a negative, but I do like that.
I just have a couple of notes.
It's the weekday PJ and the weekday AJ. So pre Justin and after Justin.
That's how we date all this stuff.
Yep.
No, I do like. There's like, I feel like there's certain episodes, especially that have like kind of that more like kind of like a deep topic, like what Mike was saying, and to be able to bring that back around and kind of like tie that in with the Bible at the end and kind of like give it that more of like in a way, like more of kind of like a happier type of ending. Like I like the type of shows where like you're watching it and it's like, I wouldn't say like bad stuff happening, but like, like the characters are experiencing problems and stuff, but then by the end it's resolved.
Sure.
And
Family
I
matters.
like that feeling where I get that a lot where, with certain topics that we're talking about during this podcast.
Cool. I think that's great. I think, I think the refrain for me is going to be, I like being able to have a discussion.
Yeah.
I like being able to, I love like having fun and all that, but there was one episode in particular where we talked about the rise and fall of Mars Hill, and we are known for our light preparation. That was one I'd actually prepped for because I'd like listened to all those, and I just finished up to I'm current now on the podcast series, and like, oh gosh, Austin and I were talking about it yesterday or something. Like, oh gosh,
right.
But those type of discussions that I think not only are valid for us in this room, but I think for everybody listening.
Yeah.
And I think there's an informational aspect too that we almost are collators of information that is coming into us. And I think some of the best I think we're the best podcast in the world, but we've only, we need like 1 million more people to listen to us.
Says who? Joe Rogan?
Yeah. We need 1 million more people to listen to us. So please continue to share.
Yeah.
But the idea that we're not necessarily arbiters of what is right and wrong, but we're simply filters of the amalgamation of information.
Like an aggregator and interpreter for our perspective and point of view.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it right necessarily, but nor do I think that we're, experts on every topic.
No, nor should we be.
No, but like this is why it's all inside baseball talk right now, but like this is why podcasts are interesting because you're allowed to not just hear a conversation, but also like take part of a conversation. And, you know, that's in my head, like that's what I really want to see more of, is how do we get more and more people involved in this and still sort of have these topics coming. And, you know, it's like they set us up, we volley back to them, and then, you know, we can just keep this going back and forth.
100%.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's great. There is, in that vein, it's funny, we all three landed on that without really planning on it, because that's what we do. But there's a website out there that I've been using for a lot of things called answerthepublic.com.
Yeah.
And what it is I don't know if we've talked about it. Have we ever talked about this before?
Nope.
It is literally a Google scraper. And all you do is, and I've unfortunately used the maximum amount of free searches. And this is
jerk.
this is used for public relations and media and consumer
SEO
research and all that other junk. But basically, there's a big search bar, and you type in one thing, and then it scrapes Google and gives you the list or the top 10 or top 1, 2, 3, 4, top 10 under all of these things.
Yeah.
So I typed in faith, and I get under the ARE heading. Our faith and hope the same thing, our faith and trust the same thing, and our faith and belief the same thing. And what this is doing is this is literally going to Google and
just aggregating
everything that is being said on Google about this word. And it's giving you the top 10, like it's doing all of these searches for you, and it's giving you the top 10 list because this is what people are talking about.
Sure.
And so I think to continue to drive the weekday forward, but not only the weekday, but everything that Bay Hope is doing, we have to listen to the public, and we have to take these core concepts. And so I have a CSV here, which is a comma separated value of one where I typed in church, and I get our church donations tax deductible, our church bylaws legally binding, our church weddings free, how church make money. I don't write these. This is Google. But then you get to the when church hurts, when church becomes a business, when church members hurt you, when church leadership hurts you.
When Cheech hurts you?
When Cheech and Chong hurts you. It did. But, you know, those type of things. And so this is what the public is asking. And I think we can lean into this a little bit more. So, hey, this is all trademarked information. But if you want to come on the podcast and talk to us, we'd love to. Just drop some information in the comments. I think this is the type of thing that we can lean into, definitely. And I know, Figuring Out has been doing this, but in a different context. I think we can take the next 30 some odd episodes of the weekday and really start to pick apart some of these questions, especially some of those like when church members hurt you, like how do you reconcile that? And what do you do with that? Like that's going to take a little more planning, a little more preparation on our part.
Sure.
But that's fine. Like I'm down for it.
As long as it's light preparation, we can't go against the mission that we have here.
The mission and the values of what's going on here. Cool. So, Justin, when I say one of those questions, like what's one of the questions that you would love to hear the weekday talk about?
Well, it sounds like a few of those questions had hurt in them.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we might even be able to take like a couple of those kind of hurt questions and kind of put them together.
We could call the episode The Hurt Locker.
Ooh, there you go.
TM.
Church hurts.
Cool.
I think I've heard that before.
I like that. That's
Welcome
good.
to the Hurt Locker.
Yeah.
What if that's a segment every week?
The Hurt Locker?
Where we just bring in somebody's horrible story about a church and how they were wronged.
How uplifting. Yeah. So good.
What is it? Can faith and hope be the same thing or something? That was the first thing you said?
Oh,
no,
gosh.
in that context.
No, sorry guys. Mike, when I say that, like or one of these questions, or not even one of these questions, but like what are some of the questions that you would love to really chat about? It's a big, broad topic.
Yeah. Could you make it any more broad?
I mean, if you want to think for it a second, I think as a church leader, I would love to lean into the next generation aspect of church, and how we as church leaders and soon to be husbands, Justin, soon to be husbands.
That's you.
That's you. And soon to be husbands, like how we can kind of start training up people behind us, because these are the questions they're asking on Google. And so I would love to really reorient ourselves a little bit and say, okay, as leaders, like let's answer that question. What's like the top 3 things we can be doing to lead our X, Y, and Z better?
Yeah. That's cool. Did you want me to answer that, or are we talking topics?
No, we're talking topics.
Okay, great.
Again, you're welcome to the meeting, guys. The meeting will be adjourned here in just a short bit.
I think church has changed so much in the past. I mean, obviously, year and a half. But I think in the past 5 years, the church has changed significantly. You know, and then moving back that 15 years, the church has changed like crazy. And it feels like everything is changing so quickly. And, you know, I think like, how do we as Christians actually reach people, you know, without it just becoming more noise? And, you know, I do think it's, not to answer the question that we're going to talk about maybe at some other point, but like, I think it's a lot easier than probably people. It's still difficult. It's still hard. It takes a lot of work. It's, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I think cultural Christianity, and Pastor Matthew has said this before, cultural Christianity is on its way out, which is not a bad thing, you know, because there's so much talk about how the church is shrinking, the Western church is shrinking, the Church of America is shrinking, and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, like, is it? Or has it always sort of been like this? It's just the cultural context of something you do on Sundays is go to church. A lot of those people who went to church on Sundays were not that involved in church to begin with,
and
you know?
Some of them were not Christian.
Right. So like, you know, like it's the idea that like Sunday's a church day is now not a thing. And it's becoming more and more not a thing. And especially in the Tampa Bay area where Bay Hope is located, according to a study done, you know, a couple years ago, we are the number 2 unchurched city in the country of metropolitan areas, 1 million or more. Only second to Portland. So like, which is notoriously like a liberal city. Like Tampa, from what I would think of it, is not a liberal city.
Right.
You know? Obviously there's liberal parts and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not talking, I don't want to get, it's not like a political thing.
Yeah, it's not a geopolitical
I'm not talking
statement
like that, but I'm just saying in general, when you think of Portland, you think liberal, you know, that kind of thing. And like, you don't think of the same thing when you think of Tampa, but Tampa is the second least church city in the country. So like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know, how do we deal with that? How do we come to grips with that? And truly be an effective vehicle of the kingdom of God here in our city, but also like where anybody else is listening as well, you know, because that is a trend. If that trend has not hit your city, wherever you're listening, it will hit your city, because that is the way this country specifically in our culture is moving, you know?
Yeah.
But it does not inoculate the gospel. It doesn't make the gospel any less potent.
Preach.
But like, how do we move forward with that?
That's good. I love it. Okay, these are just a kind of a sampling, an hors d'oeuvre of topics that
Good meeting, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Do we fire somebody now?
We can.
Okay.
Who do you want to fire?
Austin.
Sorry, Austin.
Well.
First in, or was it last in, first out?
First out.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah, I know. You're our Chris Paul.
How about you?
You're a regular Kawhi Leonard. Cool. So that's our meeting for today. We seriously want to hear about you, though. I personally, and I know Mike and Justin do, we want to hear some of those topics that are ringing in your heart that you would love to have really other people talking about with you. So feel free, again, throw those in the comments below. If you're listening in an audio, take 5 seconds and click the email link that's in the show notes and email us. And it could be the most incoherent rambling. I'll pull the meat and spit out the bones type
We will
thing.
do our best to talk about it and like legit actually talk about it.
And lightly prepare for it.
Yeah.
Lightly, but maybe more than that, prepare. Because there are a lot of things going on right now that we're all of a sudden starting to take breaths, maybe, hopefully, after the pandemic.
Maybe not in Florida.
Yeah. Maybe waning on a little bit. We're getting a chance to lift our heads up and really engage a little bit more. So there's that. There's some amazing things rolling down the pipe here with Bay Hope Digital that I'm really excited about, including groups and kind of a new group orientation structure thing, which is pretty dope. Before we go, normally we do 2 segments. I want to kick it to our homie Mike Mage first with his hot take. We missed those spicy hot takes from last week.
What was
those
the hot,
spicy
you
nubs.
didn't have
I
any
had
hot
one.
take? Oh, what was your hot take?
It was that swimming is the best Olympic sport.
Oh, you know what? Rowdy Gaines does not get paid enough money.
Dude, so you listened to last week when I talked about Rowdy Gaines?
No, I did. I don't think I got to that point. I did listen to a good bit of last week.
So last week, my whole thing was swimming is the best event because 2 reasons.
Yeah.
Number one, there's just such drama because of Rowdy Gaines.
Yeah.
He he can create a 4x800 meter, the slowest of slow races. And turn it into just a bloodbath. And I love
and you know what's crazy too is the amount that I don't know about swimming.
He fills you in.
Yeah. And he is able to, within like a 5-minute pre-segment, be able to give me everything I need to know.
Sometimes less than that.
Yeah. And it's incredible.
Yeah. So there's that, number one. Number two, I said that swimming was the only sport that has not been hampered by the COVID restrictions. And here's why. All the other events have no attendees. There is no crowd. There is no nothing because, like, look at track and field, for instance. You have people that are running around track, but you also got shot putters and pole vaulters and everything happening on there. And so there's no set, I'm not watching this, I'm not watching this one. You know, the cameras are trying to do their best, but you don't hear any crowd interaction.
Right.
It's just a lot of and throwing and feet slapping and all that.
Feet slapping.
Yeah. Same with basketball, same with soccer, same with all that other stuff. Swimming is the only sport where there's only one pool and everybody, all the teams, like, all the teams are still there. All the coaches are still there. Everybody is focused on one event.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if there's a crowd there.
Yeah.
Because like the Australian coach is the perfect example. And like there's the attendant, like, don't do that, but maybe that's great, but don't do that. Like
So
right
great.
behind him.
Oh, so good.
But that's why swimming is the best event.
Well, and I think the swimming arena is actually pretty small.
Yep.
And so a lot of the country's teams are there, or other people on the swim
the diving,
teams.
because the diving one is right on the other side.
I think that they've been able to, for people who are there, like there's actually a fairly large, comparatively, contingent of people that are able to be there.
Right.
Okay, so here's my hot take. Here we go. Ready? There's a lot of things in this world that smell bad. Okay? There's a lot of things that smell bad in this world. And I don't think we need to get into specific examples.
Give me top three
No,
smelliest
I'm not going to give you
things.
top three.
Okay.
But here's what I'm going to say. One of the most underrated bad smells is shaving cream. Listen, shaving cream has this weird, like cologne smell to it that permeates everything. And one of the reasons it's so weird is because it reminds you of old people. And you are looking at me like I'm crazy, and that's fine.
Well, I use shaving cream every day.
No, I know, but like there's something about the way that the fragrance is mixed in with shaving cream.
You're talking like old school Barbasol.
Yes.
Like just that old white.
Yes.
Because that's not what I use. I use the
that's
gel
fine.
stuff.
Sorry, I should have said like old school Barbasol, like the old
It reminds
shaving
me
cream.
of Grandpa Sanders.
It just like, so the reason I'm saying this is I have two boys, you know, Caleb and Luke.
Oh, do you?
Yes, two boys.
Okay.
And
you have a daughter too, right?
I do have a daughter.
Okay.
Yes.
What's her name?
She's incredible. Ella. My boys are incredible too.
They're not listening.
So they're 4 and 7 and they destroy everything. You know, it's constant chaos with the boys. And
the water just shot on my nose there.
And last night, Kristen thought it would be fun. Like, hey, here's some shaving cream to play in the bathtub.
Yeah.
30 seconds later, I get back in and Andy, it is everywhere.
It's like Vietnam. Napalm everywhere.
Seriously,
Yeah.
it is the beginning of Saving Private Ryan. Like, it's just, it is
Carpet bombing in your
oh my
bathroom.
gosh, it's awful. And so I go in, and I mean, it's all over them. It's just like, and I'm angry, and they're just having fun.
Was it
But
in
like,
their mouth?
It was in their mouth. It was in their ear. It was in Caleb's ear. I had to go in with I had to like roll like toilet paper and try and like fish it out of his ear. Like it was so
Because it was popping and all that in
Oh,
there?
it was disgusting.
Oh.
So, but just that smell, it is so strong. And like, it's not like Axe spray, you know,
No. It's
but
different.
there's something is like this slow creep to it that is so subtly aggressive.
Yep.
And I hate it.
Yep.
It was giving,
Right,
it was like making me gag.
You've won me over. You have won me over. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I use shaving cream every morning, but it's what's the men brand? My goodness, it's the Gillette, the best a man can get.
Which is when I've ever had to use shaving cream, I use that. But like it's different because it's like the gel that goes into
It's
the
a
foam.
gel, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's an Island Breeze one. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Hey, I have one hot take real quick. This is a quick one. Thank you for putting it on my camera preemptively, Justin. Here we go. We're gonna make this short and simple. Flavored coffee, like the
I'm on
actual
board. No, that's fine. Yep, I'm on
hazelnut
board.
or French vanilla
I'm on board.
coffee,
It's
not
fine.
the creamers.
Yep.
is an abomination and deserves to be wiped across the face.
Let's go.
Off the face of this earth.
Let's go.
Thank you.
I don't know
thanks for
about
coming to my
that
TED
one.
Talk.
I'm on board. What are you talking about? That's not good.
You said what?
You said,
You're with it?
Nah, I like flavored coffee.
No. Hold on. Maybe you're missing the point here.
No, there's like coffee pods and like coffee beans that are flavored like French vanilla.
I'm talking about the coffee beans that say hazelnut flavored coffee beans.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I kind of like
it's
them.
like it's the same.
Like them.
Oh my gosh.
They're not good.
It's like acrid. The acid that is on the outside of those beans to get the flavor, it sits on the top of your cup. It makes you feel like you've got glass in your stomach when you're done. I'm serious. It's gross. And then on top of that, it's like it makes your coffee cup smell weird when it's done. And even worse than all of that, all of those things put together is that when you have, let's say, a hazelnut flavored coffee bean, okay? You grind it up because that's what beans do. Then that smell sits in your coffee grinder for 6 years.
Yeah, I'm here for
because
it.
of the oils.
Yeah,
But I mean, if it smells like French vanilla, is that really a bad thing?
Yes.
Yeah, but you can add French vanilla to it. This is about the introduction, the infiltration of foreign elements
The crossbreeding.
into and it's
God created coffee beans to be coffee beans. He didn't create them. If he wanted them to be French vanilla flavored, he would have made them French vanilla flavored. That's all.
I'm on board. I'm on board. Yeah,
cool. Justin, do you have a hot take today? Because if not, we're gonna do a podcast pop quiz and get out of here.
I don't want to force it.
Okay.
I
appreciate
gotta
that.
think.
Next week. Justin, real quick. This is also part of the meeting. Did you get that new beard balm?
Did I? Oh, the beer balm?
Yeah.
No. So because I still have a good amount. The one that I have, but eventually that's going to run out, and I'm running out of some of the other stuff. Like I'm running out of the conditioner. So I need that.
Well, my wife's got the hookup if you need it.
I don't suffer these problems.
Yeah, it's weird. Like when you condition, it's all soft today. Okay, so we're gonna do a podcast pop quiz. You can touch it if you want. What routinely happens with that was great.
Feels like facial hair.
It does feel well. It's softer than normal. I conditioned it this morning. Every other day. What we routinely do here on this podcast to close out our podcast is we do what's called a podcast pop quiz, because the theory is that there's podcasts about every single topic in the world. And so today we're going to do a podcast
pop quiz.
There we go. And I personally, I think I have one.
Okay, go for it. Yeah. What is it?
Okay. It's a little weird.
Okay.
Vacuum filters.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good podcast pop quiz.
Wow.
You ready?
All right. Yeah, I do. Good.
30 seconds?
30 seconds.
Right there.
Yes.
Right there.
Okay, and 3,
Hold on. Yeah.
2.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Hold on, I gotta get a fresh thing up here.
gosh,
Hold on.
come on.
Sometimes Safari
Oh my
does this
gosh,
thing
you
where I
need-
get the beach
Oh,
ball.
no.
It's not my fault. It's
I mean, I
Safari's
can't
fault.
stop the timer.
I need a new computer. All right, ready? And 3, 2, 1, go. Vacuum with 2 M's.
No, with 2 U's.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Uh,
Filter podcast.
all right, here we go.
Oh no, we didn't. It's not going to be there.
What is-
Wait, 6 type of filters found in vacuum cleaners on
Enterprise
the Enterprise
Podcast.
Podcast. Oh my goodness. It was
Podcast
the
for
4th one
everything.
down. Holy stink. I didn't think we were going to do it. Man, there's a podcast for everything. Hey, thanks so much for joining
What
in on this
in the
discussion.
world?
We want to hear from you.
Gosh.
That was like really random.
That's a weird one.
We want to hear from you. Please drop your comments. Send us an email. Shoot us in the DMs. Shoot us a DM. Not in the
Shoot us in the DMs.
We love you. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Bay Hope TV. Be sure to like and share these videos with your friends, as it really does help this channel out. And be sure to subscribe for more Bay Hope TV content. As always, thanks for watching.